Hey Dominic,
Hi.
so we're both talking to you now. So
Um,
here's what we're going to do.
Hopefully you worked out today.
We're going to look at I love to treatment. What we're doing with this is we are don't be a jerk. We are making some full screen slides. They're going to come in for a message. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up the treatment. And we're going to go to, in this case, the Illustrator file. I lied. I told you we were going to do it in Photoshop. I made this in Illustrator. All right. And we're going to look for the bug artboard. Okay. This thing little that is over here. Now, what an artboard does is it means you've got a bunch of files, or not really a bunch of files. You've got a bunch of art in one file. You make them all, and then you export it into a bunch of different files. Okay, there's some weird glitchy stuff going on with these things. Don't worry, that's not really there. You can see as I move in on it, it shifts around, and that means it's not really there. So we're going to take this artboard. We're going to take the bug artboard because that's what we're working with, and the sort of the universal thing. I'm going to click on the artboard tool here to select it, and that means if I want to do anything with the whole artboard, that's where I go. Okay,
Okay.
you with me? Questions?
No.
All right. I'm going to hold down Alt. Alt is the universal thing for if I hold down Alt and drag something, it's going to make a copy of it. Okay. So I'm going to make a copy. And just by dragging it, you see my mouse right there turned into a double mouse or double arrow. That means it's copying. And boom, it's got all the assets that the artboard that I just made is now copied over. Okay, so we've got two squares that make up the green background, and then the graphic here.
Is that the fixed one or the not fixed one?
This is the fixed one.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure before we got it done.
Dominic of the future, don't worry about that. We got it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, and again, here's some of that weird glitchy stuff. Just ignore it. And I am going to use the type tool. And I'm just going to type out the things, and they are, in this case, they are obligation. Do you remember off the top of your head?
I know inspiration was one, and maybe protection, but I don't remember what order they were in.
Bear with us, Dominic of the future. We're double checking stuff. Message. Obligation, protection, inspiration. All right, and we're going to make them the right font up here.
Comic Sans.
A lot of times I go with Bebas for these, or Bebas. I don't know how it's pronounced. It's one of those things I've never heard out loud. For these full screen graphics, but I'm not going to in this case because the way they're stacked, that's a very narrow and tall font. So I'm going to just go with regular Gotham.
So if you were to do it with white with a little bit of a green tint, they would be transparent, right?
Yeah, but there's a much easier way to do that that I'm going to show you.
Oh, okay.
All right, and then I'm just going to stretch them out. Notice I'm going to do it with, these are coming in one at a time, but I'm going to bring them in. I'm going to do all three of them together because I want to get my final spacing before I deal with my spacing leading up into it. Okay. Here I can change my color. Here I could add stroke if I wanted to, but I'm not going to.
I don't know what stroke is.
Stroke is outline. Yeah. Okay. Yep. I can increase the thickness of it. Again, lots of weird glitching coming in here. Just know that it's not there in the final thing. And if I zoom out a little bit, it's going to change. So I can sort of see how I feel about that. I feel like that's pretty good. Do you feel like that's pretty good?
Hey, that's pretty good.
Current Dominic. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight it with my black arrow. And then right here, I can just change the opacity. And I'm going to change it to 67. That's where we usually go on these things. It looks incredibly light here. But when you get up on stage, it's money. 67 is the place to go, 2/3. All right. So boom, there I go. And now, just like I did before, I'm going to make 2 more copies of this slide. All right, and I'm going to come back, and I'm going to put them in the order they're going to come out. That way they'll be numbered the right way when I generate the art for them. And I'm just going to delete 2, and then just delete 1. So then, boom, they all come in like that. Obviously, I don't need to make a blank one because the blank one is just the bug still. All right, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to save this, the whole treatment. I'm going to save it again because I don't want this to go in into my regular treatment file. So I'm going to go Save As. I'm going to go to my desktop, and I'm going to call it Special Slides 12.3. 17. I'm going to save it. That saves my Illustrator, my working file. I'm just going to hit OK here. All that's fine. But then, so that I get the files that I'm looking for, and come back here to my Artboard tool and see that this is Artboard 6, because there's a little 6 right there, 7 and 8. So I'm going to go File, Export, Export As. PNG is fine, JPEG is fine. There are some things that we need JPEGs for. There are some things that we need PNGs for, but as far as ProPresenter goes, either one's fine. And we'll hit Use Artboards, because otherwise it just prints out the whole thing and not just the individual things. So Artboards, instead of all, I'm just going to say 6 to 8.
We don't use enough GIFs in our messages.
And I'm going to export. Dominic the Future. Know that I just ignored that. Boom.
I pronounced it properly.
Yeah. All right. Anything you want to say, Dominic the Future?
I hope you brushed your teeth.
Hope you did too. Later.